Hello sewing friends, Deb here. Okay, so finally it's spring here, though it's up and down, weather's up and down, it's cold, hot. At the moment it's beautifully sunny but extremely cold, weather forecast for a wet weekend. But in these seasons I've found that the thing that I most needed and never had enough of was knit tops. So when I first started sewing, I thought I'd basically have a go at making some knit tops. The knit tops that I owned were generally not long enough. They were falling off my shoulders or they were too tight in the bust. All I had was a very rudimentary sewing machine, and just basically I bought a walking foot for it from AliExpress and used it to and it worked pretty well actually. It wasn't bad. But what I've learned from sewing knit tops is that the knit you use makes a huge difference to how the top looks, how it falls. But it's all been a bit of a learning curve, and overall most of the knit tops that I made I did actually get some wear out of. So the first one I'm going to talk about was the Laundry Day Tea. Now I was attracted to that top because I saw lots of pictures. I think it's a Love Notions one. I saw lots of pictures. Penguin and Pear Dressmaking has just done a sew along to this top. It seems like lots and lots of bigger people have found that top really flattering and really worth working with. As I said, it was one of the first things I'd ever made with a knit. The knit I used was possibly, well, it was far too, I made two to start with, and they were both a bit on the heavy side, and because I've got a big bust they just kind of flared out from my bust. I'll put a photo in. Okay, so here's the picture of the top. As you can see, the fabric, although the fabric was actually lovely, it was really lovely and soft and warm, and that's why I kind of kept on wearing it even though it wasn't the most flattering. You can see that it needs to have a drapey fabric, this knit top, and this wasn't drapey enough and ended up really looking a bit like a smock on me. However, I did wear it. I wore it underneath my jumper like this. Underneath my jacket, that is, and where is the... So this is the third one. Yeah, I wear this one quite often. I kept this one because it was made of a much thinner fabric. It did drape a lot better, but I have since slimmed down the sides because I didn't really like it bunching up underneath my jacket. But I have kept this one and it's been good. Laundry Day Tea, lots of people think it's great. I think it's probably a better cut for you if you are more of a person with smaller shoulders and bust and bigger hips. But that's just my opinion. All right, so the next one is, let me see now. Oh yes, so the Cashmerette Pembroke. I made that top a few months ago. I had a very thin jersey knit. I thought I'd make one and it would be a good layering piece for adding vests and t-shirts on underneath. I've found Cashmerette patterns, they are jolly expensive, but if you've got a big bust, they're a really good buy. I have actually bought most of my Cashmerette patterns via the very, very rare occasions when they offer some discount. I think I've managed to score all the ones I've got, which is only 3 or 4 that way. Yeah, the Pembroke top, it's a good one. I was a little bit, you know, I'm used to wearing things with lower necks. I think that kind of suits someone with a big bust better, but you know, sometimes you just need something up to your neck. I'll put a photo of it in here. I went out and tried to film some footage to show you the Pembroke, because I didn't actually have a photo of it, and you can see it wasn't wholly successful. I mean, all cashmere patterns are kind of made with quite an hourglass shape, which is, and I always cut the size 20 in the body, and then, no, the size, I think I made a size 18 and then a 20 in the waist, but even so it was too big in the hips, so I slimmed that down. Yeah, but the Pembroke overall is a very good pattern, and I'm actually about to make another one, because it's just so damn useful to have a very simple, plain, you know, the high neck top. The next one is the cashmere at Dartmouth. Made one of these out of the same fabric as the dress I showed in my last video, the Martha dress. The cashmere at Dartmouth, very nice pattern. I made it with the slight ruching underneath the bust. I thought that might be quite flattering across my tummy. It came out really well. I like it a lot. The only thing I found with it was, I guess with wrap tops, if the material's quite thin, there's there's quite a bit of weight of fabric and pressure in the front, and then the back I found was pulling a bit, in the sense of it was showing every lump and bulge. But I got over that by finding a much thicker piece of jersey fabric and just lining the back with that in a very rudimentary way. I did that also on the Martha dress for this fabric too. Dartmouth top is good. I'm happy with that. I have seen a nice hack where people have turned the Dartmouth top into a dress, which probably would feel a bit safer than your usual wrap dress. Maybe I'll try that sometime. So the next one was the cashmere at Concord, and it was making this one, in which I really discovered how different, you know, jersey knit fabrics can behave. So this one that I'm going to show you in the photos in a minute, that one was, the fabric was beautiful actually. It was so soft and lovely, and I made it true to size. And it came out, it seemed a little bit loose even when I made it, but that was more to do with the softness of the fabric. But I actually didn't keep this one very long, because as I washed it, I think I've washed it 2 or 3 times, and it just got looser and looser, and in the end I just gave it away to charity because it wasn't fitting me at all well. Whereas most of the other knits I've used for other tops have actually been fairly stable. They haven't actually had the requisite amount of stretch, and yet I've seemed to have managed to get away with them okay. The dress I'm wearing today is actually a cashmere at Concord, which also illustrates, I mean, this fabric, I've got a little roll of this too. I've made a shorts out of this and this dress, and I've got enough to make a top as well. I was going to make a Concord, I thought I'll make it a tunic, but I thought I'll make a longish sort of a tunic, because I like to wear tunics and leggings. But then when I made it, the fabric's really stretchy. It's got lots and lots of give in it, and funnily enough, and it's not supposed to have a neck this long, but the weight of the fabric drew it down, so it's actually a dress. Let me see if I can show you now. So yes, the last one I want to talk to you about is the deer and doe plantain. This was one of the first knit tops I made, and the fabric I used probably wasn't also the greatest quality, and it didn't have a whole lot of stretch, so I extended the pattern a bit. I think I did a full bust adjustment, though when I look at this pattern I can't really see what it was I did. I just seemed to make more space at the sides and put in a dart, which isn't quite right. However, the top works fine, so I'm not complaining. I think probably what happened here is the jersey itself doesn't have a lot of stretch, and that's probably why I had a bit of trouble getting the sleeves to fit in and the neckline, because it was probably built for something with a bit more stretch. So I made a version in the non-stretchy blue and used exactly the same pattern to make this one in brown, which you can see has come out a whole lot looser because the fabric is a kind of a rib knit. But hey, I've worn both of them. Kind of an unexciting little array of tops, but they've all been, I learned a lot from making them, and I have worn most of them, and in fact some of them, like the Dartmouth and the Plantain and the Pembroke, I've worn them quite a bit. So yeah, and I made all of them without an overlocker, but ta-da, I'll show you something now. My brand new purchase. Ta-da! So yeah, I've been looking for one for a while, and one came up that was a reasonable price. I couldn't really find anything secondhand, and to be honest, my least loved part of sewing is fiddling about with my machine. So I thought, well, I want to try and get a good one, because it will drive me nuts having all that extra to learn and to fiddle with. So yeah, I watched the video on it last night, but I haven't even tried it. But I've got a few knit tops cut out, couple to make for my husband. I've got a Pembroke to make for myself. So I'm hoping that it's going to rain this weekend, so I'm hoping that I'll get time to do that. So yeah, so that's what I've been doing sewing wise. What's been your experience with knit tops? What are your favourites? Do you buy your garments, layering garments like this, because they're probably not the most exciting things to make, or do you prefer to make them, and which patterns do you use? If you can put that down in the comments below, I'd be interested to know, particularly if you're a person perhaps who's a little larger than norm. Okay, well, that's all from me today. Hope your autumn is coming along nicely as our spring is, and I'll be talking to you again soon. Bye.